Trapper Beef Jerky live in New York City, Friday, December 29th, the last Friday of 2023 on our show. I'm Jamie Erdahl. There is Kyle Brandt, Schrager, and Jason McCourty, who was at Yankee Stadium yesterday, which he knows that, despite not having any affinity for baseball, but it's because Rutgers football was playing.
Yeah, we got the victory over Miami. Miami, I think, 1-11 in their last however many bowl games.
Oh, no.
I don't know what year. So just domination. That's just what we do.
I saw someone on Rutgers, they put the U up like this, and they had the, and then they went U down.
When you go out there and you beat them like that, you can do that.
That's the kind of program that you're proud of? That's disrespectful like that?
Oh, if you go out and beat somebody, you can be disrespectful as hell.
You're right, Jason.
Let's do
Was it Jason doing it?
You're right.
Peter, what are we doing here?
Yeah, this is Yaya Diaby's jersey, okay? If you're just joining the show, earlier this week I said Yaya Diaby deserves Defensive Rookie of the Year consideration. He leads all rookies in sacks. He's second in tackles for a loss. Forced fumbles, he's #1. The Buccaneers, who gave me Coke Keefed last week, they hooked me up with this one. Yaya Diaby, we're starting the campaign. If he is at NFL Honors receiving the Defensive Rookie of the Year award, it's because of the work he did. 1% of it is the campaign we're rolling. Yeah. Starting right now for Yaya. He's going to be on national TV against the Saints this weekend.
Yes.
3 sacks. Yaya Diaby's your Defensive Rookie of the Year.
So you Defensive Rookie of the Year.
What's this?
Defensive Player of the Year. I'm not bandwagon. You're back. Listen, this is our way of showing respect and adoration to the Cleveland Browns after what felt like Browns prom last night. It was a really, really incredible night. And let's get into it.
Could still win the division, but at this very moment, they're the 5 seed, meaning they would play the AFC South winner, which is right now the Jaguars. But gosh, Cleveland's so hot. So hot right now.
So hot, and they did that last night without Amari Cooper, of course. Playoff-clinching win by the Cleveland Browns. Jason, where do you take us first?
Well, you got to go first. You got to go Joe Flacco.
Back to Flacco.
What he's able to do, especially in that first half, as you're watching him. Yes, I know he had to pick 6, he fumbled. There were mistakes that happened in that game. But what Joe Flacco's doing, Kyle, you just showed that in the highlight towards the end of the second half where he's rolling to his left and hits Jerome Ford. But there were passes in this game. As you're watching, you're just like, this is an absolute dime to Njoku. Njoku catching a one-hand one going across the middle. It just was unbelievable to watch him continue to play at this high of a level week in and week out. You're looking at it, you're like, all right, it's a short week, a Thursday game for Joe Flacco. He's 38 years old. Is he going to be able to get up and be... Yes. He was out there and he was absolutely performing. All over Twitter, you just continue to see the Vince McMahon meme. And it's the kid asking his dad, what was Joe Flacco like on the Browns? And he's just giving him with the face. And that's what he's been. And it's been so fun to watch. And even last night as you watched the game, as he's throwing the ball over the field, what I was most impressed with was the emotion from Joe Flacco. He's on the sideline screaming with Deshaun Watson. He's fist pumping after big plays. He's rallying guys. Ronnie Hickman gets the pick 6. He's shouting on the sideline, going out. The fans are there. We all know the history of the Cleveland Browns, what the fans have been through, all this, that, and the third. But I think this season has been so special for them because they've been counted out by everybody with all of the injuries. And here they are at the end of the season, 11-5, clinching a playoff berth. And it is absolutely exciting as hell in Cleveland right now because of what they're doing, not only on the defensive side with Myles Garrett, but also on the offense with Joe Flacco and company.
Down their top 2 offensive tackles, they essentially lose their top 2 wide receivers. Amari didn't play. He tried to work out before the game, couldn't go. And then Elijah Moore, hopefully he's okay. He got carted off. Down their starting running back in Chubb, and down to their 4th quarterback in Joe Flacco, and they're like the best team in football. Like, what? Like,
I'm trying to think of a playoff team that's had 4 quarterbacks start in a season before.
Maybe the Houston Texans when like Schaub and Leinart and all those guys, Garcia were all there.
I think they're the first one.
Are they?
4 is a lot.
4 is so many, and you know. He threw for 296 yards the first time. It's the most he's ever thrown 4.5 in his career.
It's outlandish. It's 96.
This is after a week of us crowning him. And he was like, all right, let me go out there and throw for the most yards ever. There was a stat that I saw that if he had thrown for more yards in the second half, like they called off the dogs after that. If he had thrown for more, like it would be the most yards thrown in a 4-game span since Peyton Manning did it in 2013. Like, that's what he's doing. And then there's this part of it where like he's 38. Like he looks good. Like he looks thin. He looks. He's like glowing. He looks great.
Really healthy.
And then the pass that you referenced to Ford. Can we show this? Like. He gets smacked in the head. Watch this whole play.
Yeah, he takes a shot.
He gets shot in the head by, and he like takes it. Then he's on the move of Quentin Williams chasing across his body, throws it. Like, that's not just a big statue in the back and just throw an 80-yard pass. That is a nimble, lean, in this story. But I think Flacco's the story of the day, maybe the story of the season.
Well, we have such a tight research staff here. We have it in real time. The 2015 Texans made the playoffs with 4 starting quarterbacks: Brian Hoyer, Ryan Mallett, T.J. Yates, and Brandon Whedon. That's the last team that's done it. So Whedon started the game too. The Texans have done it, but they didn't do this formula of the old guy coming off from retirement and everything. You raised the question yesterday, Peter, like, could he win Comeback Player of the Year? I think if they're going to the playoffs, especially if you win this to finish out. I think he is. You're in a philosophical debate with DeMar Hamlin and everything he's accomplished, which
Baker Mayfield and Flacco are the 2 we came up with yesterday.
It's pretty good. I mean, Baker's tough to beat if you go start to finish like that. I've been watching Flacco now, like we all have. It's like I feel like he's never played this well with the Ravens. Like, you had the playoff run, but that was a lot of defense and a lot of running. Like, he wasn't doing 296 in the first half. Understand, I mentioned this in the highlight. The Jets have not given up 280 in a game all season. And remember, they've played Dak, Josh Allen twice, Tua twice, Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. Like, they played the big dogs, and nobody's hit 280. He hit 286 at halftime. But we're all trying to characterize Flacco right now, and I think I finally reached how I feel when I watch him. He shows up to the stadium like an old golfer shows up to the course. His body language, his calm, his confidence. He runs in at 7:29. He rents clubs. He doesn't have a tee time. He doesn't go to the range. He jumps in with a group of 3 that needs a 4th. Hey, nice to meet you. I'm Joe. He puts that ball down on that first tee and blasts it 315 yards. He is so confident, so loose. He plays the game like he's got a, in his golf cart, he's got a Yeti of Tito's with just a little lemonade.
He's already, he's already a made man.
It's fine, because, you come to find out as you're playing your 18 holes, like, yeah, back in the day I used to play a little bit. Oh, really? Tell us about it. It's no big deal. It's just, I won the championship. And, it's like he's not totally chill the whole time. He gets excited when he makes a big shot, and he gets a little mad when he misses a shot. But there's a famous golf quote that I really attribute to Flacco right now, and it's Bobby Jones, who basically invented the Masters and Augusta and all that, and he said, you swing your best when you have the fewest things to think about. Look at some of the guys we've seen this year. Look at young Bryce Young. It looks like he's getting over the golf ball. He's my hands, my feet, my shoulder, my head, my shot. I remember Justin Fields earlier this year was talking about, I have too many things in my head, and he was being overcoached. Flacco is so loose. He's like, I got nothing to prove. I'm Joe Flacco. I'm gonna get this team to the playoffs, and if I don't, fine. But I have never seen, like, even Brady in the middle of championship runs and all these greats, they're wound pretty tight. Flacco's so loose. It's almost like a little anesthetized. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, yeah, I'm cool. Hey, I had one before the game. I feel great. I'm going to throw it here. I'm going to throw it here. He's got this vibe of, like, the chillest golfer on the course who knows how to play the game. He's going to play with some kids. And maybe he'll make par, maybe he won't. But if he does, great. If not, fine. It's really cool, and I really identify with it. Just being on courses, never being that guy, but you see that guy, you always want to play with that guy. And I feel like that's how the Browns feel.
And if you are one of those 3 that he dropped into your group, you go up to the beer cart at the turn, and you're like, that guy already got your round. It's like, he's so cool. He already did it in advance. Like, I didn't even see him go over there. How did he pull that off? That was ridiculous. Cool. We love that guy. He tried to attribute all of his success, like Joe Flacco normally does, to his teammates. Like, gotta push the ball up the field. I love throwing to these guys. Kevin Stefanski's calling a great game for him offensively. Stefanski now only the 2nd Cleveland Browns coach to have multiple 10-win seasons behind Paul Brown, which is crazy, which is another campaign that maybe we should talk about in terms of Coach of the Year for Kevin Stefanski. Browns' 4th straight win last night as we take a look at how Cleveland compares to another hot team in the AFC, and that is the 2nd come-running team, or maybe the OG in the month of December, if you will, and that is the Buffalo Bills. Here's how they have fared since Week 14. They are scoring at a comfortable clip. They are holding teams. Their defense has stepped up. And there is a vibe about the Bills that you kind of anticipated seeing because it's the Bills and it's Josh Allen. Maybe everything Cleveland has gone through, you didn't anticipate this. So scare your surge for a contender at this point. Is it the Browns, Jason, or is it the Josh Allen Bills?
I'm going to stick right with the Cleveland Browns on this one. And I think, obviously, with the Bills and with Josh Allen, there's so much unknown. You don't know kind of which team you're going to get. We watched him beat down on the Dallas Cowboys, and that was running the hell out of the ball. We've seen Josh Allen go absolutely off. But But with this Cleveland Browns team, I think the resiliency of this team, of everything they've gone through, they continue to just show up. And I think for a team, when you're going against somebody like the Cleveland Browns, you know, no matter how big of a haymaker we throw in the first quarter, the fourth quarter, whenever it happens, that they're still going to be there and they're still going to be fighting. So right now, I'm rolling with the Cleveland Browns.
It's good. If you look at those two logos, Browns and Bills, for the entire 2000s, those were two of the worst franchises in football. Like you'd put that on a Thursday night game, and there'd be six people watching, and they were from Cleveland and Buffalo. Now they're the two hottest teams in football. It's kind of cool. And I'm wearing a Bucs jersey. They've won 4 straight. So we're talking about 3 teams that are not historically, in the last 20 years, been those hot teams. I'm going to go to Buffalo, and hear me out. I love what Cleveland's doing, obviously, and I love Flacco. I feel like this particular Buffalo team has been through so much and has hit the valley, like almost the nadir this season, and they've made it through the other side, and there's like a light at the end of the tunnel that they might be playing with a little bit of house money here. They didn't, a month ago, we never thought in a million years that the Bills would be contenders to not only make the playoffs, but to actually win the AFC East. If the Dolphins lose this week to the Ravens and lose to the Bills, and the Bills win out, the Bills will have swept the Dolphins, and they'll be the 2 seed in the playoffs. So, like, to me, this Bills team, we all thought they were Super Bowl contenders. They laid an egg for the first 13 weeks of the season, and here we are going into week 17, and it's suddenly, oh, wait, they are Super Bowl contenders. They've been through so much as a unit. They've been through the playoff games. They've won huge playoff games. They've lost huge playoff games. They've been through controversy. They've been through tragedy. This unit, to me, if they get another 2 wins and end the regular season as that hot team, it's like all bets are off. They might be your Super Bowl champions.
They still got work to do. You know what I mean? Like, the Browns punched their ticket. The Browns are going. The Bills, like, these last 2 games might be tricky. And I go to the logo thing like you do. And which one do you want to see? I'm